We started the back of this food forest here just for the little garden update. This was a fig that I planted. You can see the sun just burning into it. It's a passion fruit. It doesn't seem to mind the heat. There's some Mexican sunflower here. Cassava, yucca. It seems pretty happy. Keep cutting it down so it doesn't get too tall, because we're going to leave it for a little while and I don't want a storm to come and blow it all over. So I'm trying to get it to be a little bit more bush-like. Another Mexican sunflower, some cranberry hibiscus, Mexican sunflower, and then another passion fruit on this side. Just get an idea of the growth of it. And on this side we have some moringa here on the outside. We have more Mexican sunflower. There's some lemongrass that I just cut inside there. There is a ice cream banana. On the other side there's the Mysore banana. It's not as tall and growing as well. I don't think it likes the heat. I scattered turmeric all around here. Another moringa that I just cut probably 2 weeks ago maybe. You can see where I cut it and it's already regrown a lot. I should have cut it a little bit higher so I could walk under it so it was more of a canopy, but lesson learned there. Got some really nice cranberry hibiscus. There's a papaya in there, but it's struggling to take off here. There's my mulberry, which I've been trying to baby to get trimmed up the way I want to. Now they're gonna start that probably the pressure washer over there. I feel like they do that every couple weeks. Nope. Could be just the lawnmower, I'm not sure. So the mulberry, it's doing good. This is another moringa. There's some plantains in here, and I think that's a kokopo, which who knows if that's going to make it. There's another cassava in there, piled all in. This is a chaya with a beautiful bee doing some pollinating there. Yeah, you like that? The sugar cane is growing awesome, and I just did an experiment where I just cut a cane and stuck it in the ground and it was regrowing. So that's going to be no problem to propagate. There's some more Mexican sunflower. I think we could walk around this way because it seems a little bushy there. Might as well go down this way. And so this is about 2 weeks after I trimmed, no, it's probably about a week after I trimmed this sun hemp. I made these 2 rows of sun hemp. So you can see it really growing back already. I trimmed it and there was nothing, they were just sticks. Probably about a foot high, maybe a foot and a half high. And now they're growing back. And on this edge I have Mexican sunflower and moringa. And then here I have a little ice cream bean. So this will be my edge. Hopefully this can get tall and block the late afternoon sun. There's some beans growing up the side of the chicken coop. Don't need those really, but they're there. I planted these as trellis, sides of trellis holders. These are just moringa, and now the trellis is done and they are growing. They already have bean pods on them, so I'll chop these back after we harvest these moringas. There is a really healthy velvet bean. This is the velvet bean. It was like a variated like bean looking, so the original one I got was just a solid color, but this one was a variated one. But it seems really happy. It doesn't mind that it's in direct sun all day. At least the top of the plant, the bottom of the plant's really shaded itself now. So you can see all the growth up here. Something's been picking at it, but it's growing way more than it can get picked at. So it's really, really happy. I'm really happy with that. This is a mother of cacao. My brother recommended that I get it. You can Once it gets tall enough, you can chop it and use it for fence posts, which I'd love to do, some living fences. So if I can propagate this and get it large enough to start to use it, that would be amazing. It seems like it's okay here. It probably wants some more sun now that it's getting really shaded, but maybe it'll start to have a good growth and start to really grow. There's some plantains in here that are struggling. Kind of sad about the plantain growth this summer because I just think it's the lack of rain that we're not getting that's causing this for some of these plants to suffer. Some more Mexican sunflower I've been using for mulch and feeding to the chickens, and some more cranberry hibiscus and another papaya and some moringas on this edge that I'll chop up. Look at these pods on these moringas. Beautiful. Huge pods. These are only a year old, so this one's less than a year. This one's probably 6 months old. I just stuck it in the ground as a stick and now it's growing. These ones here were from seeds, so they're really happy. Then we got a blue java, true blue java from Green Planet Farms in Punta Gorda. And I got another little moringa growing right down there. And then the elephant ear. Pearl's got her purslane popping up here. Cuban oregano's looking good. We'll walk down here into the sun to get the rest of the stuff. But we have a nice papaya here. This is the male, and I'm not cutting it because it survived the hurricane, and I'm gonna wait for maybe the end of winter, something around there, to maybe trim it again and get a nice canopy going with this. It's doing really well. It's surviving this drought of a summer, and it's putting out a bunch of flowers, and it's a really happy papaya. Next to it, I have a little cherry tree that's more or less struggling. It's happy, but it's struggling because it's just in the dry heat here. But it's growing. There's another papaya that just volunteered itself there. A bunch of flowers and stuff that just burned up in the sun. A nice moringa. It's got a bunch of pods. They're about ready to be harvested. A few of them are. The chicken coop's just baking out here in the sun. Girls are real quiet in there right now, saving their energy up, getting ready for a hot day. This sisu spinach really took off. It's really happy. It gets a lot of sun in the afternoon, but in the morning this is all shaded here. This is galangal ginger and some calla lilies, some bromeliads in here. I put in an ice cream bean just to see if it would take. I don't think it's done much of anything. There's also some perennial peanut and cranberry hibiscus and my grandma's jade cuttings that are in there. There's some katuk that's struggling in the heat. There's some salvia and some shampoo ginger and I think there's a turmeric that's suffering down there too. Around the corner, I still have my birds of paradise just for shade, pretty much. There's a pretty flower about to pop out of there. Some more calla lilies, some ginger, and elephant ears, all chilling here. You can see what the sun does to this stuff in the afternoon. Just melts it. Just melts the chlorophyll right off of it. But it's staying alive. Then we have these are the peacocks. I think there's a yellow and a pink in here, maybe a red too back there. Some more katuk, and then I put some perennial peanut down there just recently to see if it'll take, but I don't know, I'm struggling right now. And we got some, these are just the cosmos that I just trimmed up. This is a replant of the toilet paper plant, so I'll just put this right here. It's from the mint family, so it seems like it's doing fine. It's out here in the hot sun, but it's growing good, so that's good. I got a pineapple from Janine and Josh. Pineapple plant's growing good. There's some zinnias that I found in the other garden bed that looked really, really healthy, so I transplanted these, and they're out here in the hot, direct sun for most of the day, and they're doing okay for no rain and not being watered. This is an amaranth that was grown from a volunteer seed, so I'm leaving that because I'm going to collect the seeds off of that, because they're going to learn how to grow in 115 degree temperatures and dry soil. It seems like it's thriving right now, even though it's about to fall over. It's still doing okay. There's also some moringa that's sprouting up in here, and some more peacocks and some senulatas that are in here. There's a pigeon pea here that's struggling but doing okay. There's some more katuk back here. That's the original katuk that I bought and did cuttings from, so it's all right. There's a struggling ice cream bean that I planted here. The soil's really bad back here. It's just nothing, but and the sun will also hit this as soon as it gets around the chicken coop. But I think it's growing. I think there's some new growth about to pop out of the center of that. So that's okay. And then this is the back end of the chicken coop and the little secondary run that I'll have for them. And then I put these posts in every 6 feet so I can plant some of the fruit trees once this soil gets a little more health and growth to it and life. And Becca said we have some eggs in there, but let's just walk around here a little bit more so we can get a good idea of what it looks like. And this is like an extreme drought that we're having right here too, so it's a wonder that a lot of these plants are still green. This is a blue butterfly pea. It's really happy. It gets beat in the afternoon sun, so I'm surprised that it's doing as good as it's doing. There's a couple that are there. There's one coming up here. And then back here we have the banana row. We have dwarf Cavendish, which we just harvested. Some of the bananas are still back over here. And like I said, they're not as good as the ice cream bananas. They're basically the smaller version of the tall Namois, which is down there. But I like them because they don't fall over as easily. So they're definitely rooted deeper and they're shorter. So all around, I feel like that would be better. If it tastes good, then we're gonna try to utilize that. There's some more moringa that's popping up in here in the toilet paper plant. This is a sweet almond that just flowered the other day. It smells awesome. This thing's finally growing a little bit now that I cut down these tall bananas and harvested them, so now it has more sun. This moringa decided to take off now that this banana's been chopped too. So it's doing really well. Then we come around here, so we got the dwarf Namois. We have a red. We have a standard Namois ice cream banana, and then that's a standard Namois as well. So this one, I just didn't want to lose it because it was the best tasting and best growing. It just grows really, really tall, so I'm just trying to keep it propagated. And then I also scattered some turmeric all around here and some ginger all around here. Same thing down here. We passed up this side because we have a Kokopo banana, which we've yet to see flower. I had to chop it down. It went through a hurricane. It went through all kinds of heat and drought and everything, and it's still growing. So got some pups coming up down there. So I really want to see how tall this gets, how the fruit tastes, if it can flower and fruit. Pretty excited about that one. It's supposed to be a fast fruiter. My avocado was doing good since up to last week, since we've had this really oppressive heat. It seems like it's struggling a little bit now. I tried to water it really good the other day. I don't think I did it any favors by doing that because I think I just didn't do it deep enough. I might just try to put some water on it and let it soak if it doesn't rain here in the next few days. You can see the sky. There's not much of clouds, and it's still early, but we really desperately need rain here for a while. There's another, this is the Namois. My compost system that needs covered is just dry, very, very, very dry. But it's working, and the soil is fine. I'm using it for planting cuttings and some seeds and replanting some plants. So it's all working. Like I'm managing it. You even though it's dry. There's some stuff in here, but nothing really crazy. Let's go look at some of these cuttings and some of these plants that we have. We have a Chapotacaba that we took from Costa Rica, a seed that we bought in the store, and we sprouted it and it's trying to grow. There's little spikes on this, so it is not the prettiest or most petable plant, but nonetheless, we're trying. I just watered all this stuff so it looks all wet right now, but this is some nice basil. There's some more ice cream bean. There's some ginger, or I'm sorry, that's turmeric. And then we have rosemary. There's some black bamboo cuttings in there. Chapotacaba that's suffering, red Chapotacaba. There's some mulberries I did some cuttings of when I had to take down the mulberry by the chicken coop, so those are all cuttings of that plant. There's a meme sapote back here that was grown from a seed that's popping up nicely. And then over here we have a bunch of different kinds of gingers, different colored ginger, and turmerics. This is a black turmeric here that just came up from the rhizome very quickly. There's some toilet paper plant that I propagated, and some cranberry hibiscus, popcorn senulatas, and just your standard senulata. Different types of different colors of ginger. It has it said on there. There's red ginger. There's this one is a Hawaiian red. This one back here is I know we have a blue. This one is the blue. So there's a blue there, and I tried to propagate some other blues when I got them, but so far nothing's popping up yet, but I got faith in these. There's green. There's the whole rainbow of every kind of turmeric that I could possibly get. I bet you there's still more colors, but this is what I got so far. Then I have some mangoes here that are hanging on. Pickering mango and some kind of sweets. I should see the name of this. Sweet tart mango, and this is Pickering. So I'll plant these eventually once it's tolerable for them to be out in the heat. There's a yellow dragon fruit here that started to grow and then kind of started to fade off because I had it in the greenhouse. There's another one here that Becca got for me, so I think they're both going. This is another mulberry cutting that's doing great. There's some mangoes from Steve's house that I'm trying to get. I think I got about 4 of them. None of them have really been taking off, but they're not dying, but they're not really thriving either. So this is probably the best looking one. It's got a couple dead leaves on it, but it looks still a little bit green. Once the sun hits it, it perks up. It might be a little better. Some more bananas and some more, these are just ice cream bananas. There's some katuk back here too, and some more mulberry cuttings. Over here I trimmed the desert rose all the way down to a stump just to try to get some good regrowth from it. And look at it. So I think it'll fatten it up some. I know you're supposed to keep those in pots, but some of the ornamentals that came from Pearl. There's some really dry cranberry hibiscus. A really pretty peacock. That's the 2nd generation. That's the one straight from Costa Rica, came in my pocket, the seed. We have some lemongrass. It smells great. This is my beautiful greenhouse that's ridiculously hot that I built to protect the plants from the squirrels and everything, but I tried to cool it, and it's ridiculous to try to cool it right now. You can see the max temperature got to 149 degrees. That's unreal. This is where we kept the chickens when we built the coop, so it's all dried out and dead here. None of this gets watered. You can see like some different kinds of grains popping up, everything. And this was a moringa that I just stuck in the ground here. Look at this thing. Just stuck this stick in, and this is growing. So that's the way I want to propagate moringa, if at all possible. And then here I have some pigeon peas from seed. They really probably want some water too. Some of them are growing good. There's different kinds here. There's a red and a white. I'm not sure which are which, but it looks like this one's the happiest with this dry dry weather that we're having. And then there's a plumeria that I just stuck in here after the hurricane. I had to trim them, so that's a cutting. And then there's a miracle fruit. I stuck my chicken in the ground here and planted this miracle fruit on top. So we'll see how this does. I have to have it protected from the sun because there's no way that I'm gonna stick a new plant in the ground in the heat of summer without any rain. So we're trying to keep it shaded. That's pretty much the gist of it. I can get some more wide shots over here just to see what the growth looks like when we come back. We're supposed to do a long trip, so I mean, it's pretty grown right now. When it starts to rain, I think it's really gonna blow up. Things are gonna get really green. And the water tanks have been doing really well. The Becca's larva has been doing really well. My worms, I haven't been giving them attention because just all the things that are going on. So they're kind of suffering. I might try to redo that at some point. Same thing with the compost. I'll reset that up once we get into next year. The ayahuasca is, copy vine is happy. I trimmed it way down in order to make this room for this greenhouse. I'm really excited about this greenhouse though, because I'm going to do some nice growth in here once if we get a winter. So keep things tropical all winter long. Although it's staying pretty tropical right now. It's extremely tropical. Well, that's about the gist of it. I guess we end here with the chickens. They were really loud earlier today. I think they just wanted me to come out and see them. We have the one that looks like a rooster but doesn't crow. Goldie. And there's Rose there. Oh, and then I have a little experiment going on in here that I still have to work on, but I blocked off a section. You can see here, blocked off a section, and I want to be able to grow some greens and things in there and sprout some sprouts, and then open that up for them so they could get some fresh greens, because it's just I know this is horrible to have just dirt in a chicken coop, but there was a bunch of mulch in here, and I just keep turning these misters on, and it just turns into a mud pit. But I'm gonna get some more mulch and get it in here for these girls and get them set up. But right now we're just doing some rain dances because you really need the heavens to drop some water on us poor peasants. Okay, I think that's good enough. Get the basic gist of everything going on here. 23 minutes later, that's enough for a vertical video. Peace out.